Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Mapper Forward, friends. Today on the podcast, revenue generating ideas for your cafes and roasteries. Although roasteries aren't doing it too bad right now, we do want to, though, focus primarily on cafes. And today we're going to talk about 4 tips that you can apply to revenue generating ideas for your cafe. But all of this stuff is applicable to roasteries as well. So before we go through the 4 tips, in case you're listening to this and you're still wondering if Corona is real, and I know the majority of people are going to be saying, girl, you're crazy. Nobody thinks that this is not real. Well, there are people who think that this is not real. And if you happen to be watching this and thinking that, you're welcome to your own opinion. Whether you believe it's real or not, this situation in our industry is not going away anytime soon. So the industry model, as we previously knew it, is broken. It was broken before this happened, and all of the massive incidences that have happened in 2020 have lifted the veil off of all of the undercurrent of unspoken truths in our industry. Things like issues with the coffee value chain, issues with profit margins in cafes, the way that employees were being paid a non-livable wage around the world, the low barrier to entry that was getting in the way of us elevating the professionalism in our industry. Too many people getting into business that had no business getting into business as quickly as they did, had they have waited and skilled themselves up on the coffee value chain and understood what they were getting into, as well as a bunch of other things about getting into business, they probably would have been able to survive a lot longer when something like this showed up. So if you still have your cafe, congratulations. This is a time where we are going to need to pivot often in the coffee industry. Things are going to continue to change. Laws are going to continue to change. Stimulus packages are going to come out. Stimulus packages are going to run out. And you're going to have to find ways to continually pivot throughout this period until we come back to some sense of normal, of what the new coffee industry is going to level itself out to be. I have been saying for a long time now that the future is automation. I think that we have accelerated into a time when that future is now here, or at least rapidly approaching. And, if you are thinking about changing some of the models in the cafe that you own, please keep that kind of stuff in mind. But pivoting consistently, continuously, and reassessing what's going on is going to be really important. So the 4 things that will help you come up with revenue generating ideas, here they are. First of all, if you haven't gone about the business of learning how to ask your customers what they want, now is the time to work very hard on doing that. Some people may be saying, well, a cafe is a community-based place. Of course, people ask their customers what they want. It would shock you to know how many people don't know what their customers want. It is important for you to find a way to start doing that. And you can do that on social media. You can do that through your mailing list. You can do that through talking with people. You can do that through examining the analytics on your social media. So asking directly what your customers want and how you can be of service to them is the first piece of information that will lead you to coming up with ideas of how to generate revenue. Number 2, check Instagram and social media. And I exclusively put Instagram in there because I found it's the best way to go when trying to see and tap into the pulse of what's going on. But check Instagram and social media for ideas. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. You don't have to be the person who's coming up with innovative ideas every week. Other people are doing it for you. So tap into Instagram. Follow people in different cities, in different countries. Excuse me. Keep an eye out on what some of the different things that people are doing and see how you can connect that to what your customers are asking for. That leads me to number 3. Connect with your mailing list. Now, your POS system, if you're using something like Square, will typically have most of your customers will have entered in their email addresses if they want their receipts emailed to them. That gives you a database of many email addresses. This is a time to start connecting with those people, reaching out to them, offering them deals, telling them the new things that you've got coming up, and asking them what else they can do to be of service to you. And it will shock you how interactive people can be. I would stress a couple of things here. Make sure that when you're reaching out that it's not just all sell, 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 sell. Your mailing list communication needs to be about your customers first and you secondary. So an example of a way to do that is to check in with people and ask them how they're doing. Ask them what they need from you. Don't simply just say to them, hey, by the way, we've got a new coffee in. Have a structure to the way that you're going to speak to your customers and set up a flow and a rhythm of how you're going to do that. So let them know that you'll be emailing them a special deal every week. Or let them know that you'll be having an offering of a weekly coffee subscription where they pay a certain amount and they never have to worry about paying when they come and pick up their daily coffee when they come to the cafe. Doing stuff like that shows your customers that they should anticipate a rhythm and a flow of the communication that you're going to give them. And that's really helpful in a time when people are looking to feel connected to the businesses they used to support and aren't able to support anymore. The other thing is keep your customers appraised of what's happening. Recently, we have seen in the press, and we're going to continue to see this, where customers have been blindsided by cafes closing down. You may be thinking, why do we want to communicate this kind of thing with our clients ahead of it happening? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is communicate with your customers the challenges that you're experiencing so that they can better support you, but tell them how they can support you. So an example of doing this without sounding desperate would be to say something like, hey friends, so we're working really hard to make sure that we don't let any of our staff go. That's the priority right now. The more customers that support our business, the more we're going to be able to keep our staff employed. And so because of that, we're offering this week a box of sweets or whatever it is. This is the special offer. And communicate to them what the purpose of doing this is. That kind of communication can be really, really helpful for customers to give them a reason to support what you're trying to do. Now, why this is important is because first, it invites them to be invested into the success of your business. And customers right now, and always, but now more than ever, they want to be invested in saving a small business if they can. And the other thing that this does is it helps drum into customers the idea of supporting local businesses. Most importantly, it keeps them informed that you are doing everything that you can to keep your business alive and how you're using their funds as a direct way of doing that. Now, tip number 4. I think that this is the foundation that brings all of this together. Make sure that every idea that you implement is worth it. Something that I have been a little disappointed by, I guess, but not shocked by, is the number of cafe owners and roastery owners that don't know how to do a cost breakdown analysis and don't understand their profit and loss statement. The consequence of this has been that because a lot of cafe owners didn't know that they were losing money on a lot of transactions, the pandemic is what revealed to them that that was the case. So what I want you to do when you have an idea, do a cost benefit analysis. So what's it going to cost us to promote this thing? Or what's it going to cost us to implement this idea? If we're going into partnership with another brand, what is that going to cost us? And what is the expected return on investment for that situation? Example, if you're going to do this thing that everyone's doing, like the iced latte in a bottle, if you're going to do that, please first of all make sure that it's food safe. There's a lot of that stuff going out there at the moment that's scaring the shit out of me in the way that people are just putting iced lattes in a glass bottle and just giving it to customers. No, there's a lot more that especially if you're using milk, cow milk, there's a lot of concerns there. So be careful. But if you're going to do that and you've decided, well, we know somebody that will print our logo on a glass bottle. And if they're going to print your logo on a glass bottle, please, I know it looks fantastic, but before you do that, I encourage you to figure out all the costs involved in doing that, and not just from a cost of goods perspective. Figure out, okay, so it's going to cost me the bottle, the coffee, the milk, and the time for my employee to do all of that. Figure it out on a per batch basis and how long it's going to take. That's a cost breakdown analysis from a cost of goods perspective. But don't forget, you have your running costs of your business to include in there. And that's extremely important. And that's the part that most cafe owners forget to incorporate into a cost breakdown analysis. Once you've got your cost breakdown analysis, you can then figure out a cost benefit analysis. So you can understand, what's the benefits of running this? Do I make a financial profit, or am I just running this because the relationship that it's going to build with this partner that I'm partnering with is going to bring me a long-term return on investment? I support anyone that chooses to make these kinds of decisions informed. If you make these decisions uninformed, that's how you're going to get into trouble. So if you're going to lose money after you've done your cost breakdown analysis and you have established that the point of this is not to make money, the point of this is to get the word out about what we're doing, and then we're going to raise our prices later so that we can become profitable, well, that's a plan. And that's one that you understand the risks of. But if you go in there and you just decide, well, everybody else is doing this, so I'm going to do it, and everybody else on Instagram is saying, well, they're making lots and lots of sales on this. Okay, but are you sure they did a cost breakdown analysis and a cost benefit analysis? And don't believe what you see on Instagram. Just because somebody has a great brand, it doesn't mean that they are doing the right things. And second of all, are you sure that they're profitable when they're doing this? Do you know what their motives are to do this? It's important for you to think for yourself. And in the next episode of the podcast, we're going to explore independent thinking. And this is one great reason why you should unhook yourself from doing everything that everybody else is doing. I hope this has been helpful, and I hope that your business is doing fantastically so that everyone in your ecosystem is able to keep their jobs and stay safe. Peace, love, and peanut butter, friends. Have an amazing rest of your day.